Greetings, Soulswind here, and welcome to Let's Play Lord of the Rings: The Battle for Middle-earth. We have seen the featurette videos for the good heroes, characters that helped to save Middle-earth, of course with the help of a lot of other people, creatures as well. But, what about the opposite side? What if it's the evil side? Are they still heroes? Would you consider them heroes? Maybe we'll call them anti-heroes. And we start with Saruman, the White Wizard. Formerly good and an advisor, a counsel to Gandalf the Grey, he became evil. And the first order of his business was to imprison Gandalf in the Tower of Orthanc at Isengard, and then begin building an army of Urkai, devious warriors, bred but for one purpose: war, for Sauron. But here we're not concerned about that, we're concerned about his powers. How does he match up against Gandalf? Can Gandalf win him in a one-to-one fight? Well, we've seen Gandalf can win, right? But I think with the help of the Gondor soldiers and archers, at least the archers shooting. Anyways, we start with the first skill, the Wizard Blast, which is the same name as that of Gandalf's, and it blasts back enemies. It's available at rank 1. It is a single target, so you select the skill, and then select the target. And just like Wizard Blast from Gandalf, or the one that Gandalf has, although it's a single target, it actually affects an area in the form of a cone shape centered around the selected target. This is one of the most powerful and most useful skill that Saruman has, because it activates instantly and it clears a lot of threat instantly, and it affects a huge area. Cooldown though, 60 seconds, not too bad I think. It can be used frequently, but 60 seconds might be good enough for Saruman to be taken down, because it's HP of 1,800 pales in comparison to that of Gandalf at 3,000. So yeah, he's a lot less tanky. His damage though of 180 with his staff, just attacking with his staff, is also lesser than that of 200 from Gandalf. Anyway, without the staff, without the Wizard Blast, what else do we have in terms of power? We've got the Fireball. Requires Saruman to be at rank 2. There's a ball of energy, which is basically fire. It is treated as a fire attack, so it will work on the Mumakils, the mountain trolls, as well as Treebeard and anything that's susceptible to fire. This has a cooldown of 60 seconds as well, so these two can complement each other. We can have them take turns being used to do crowd control, like maybe every 30 seconds use one of them and let the crowd build up or something. But this fireball thingy has got a lot less area of effect, so they don't seem to hit as much as the Wizard Blast. Nevertheless, it's still a good crowd control tool at 60 seconds cooldown time. The next skill that Saruman has is Wormtongue. Basically, Wormtongue is a person, a man of Rohan, but he's not in here, okay? He doesn't appear, but it's considered a skill. So it requires Saruman to be at rank 4, and it allows Saruman to temporarily gain control of targeted units. We get these units, especially if it can affect a large area, and that means a large group of units, then we're able to turn the tide and have suddenly a large group of army fighting for us, even if it's temporary. And once it's counted down, we do have to take them out. So have some attack ready to take out these armies once they are returned to their former allegiance. But it's a good skill. However, it's got a cooldown time of 240 seconds. That is 4 minutes, and it's a lot of time to wait for the cooldown. So don't depend on this. Just use this if the situation calls for it, and it is available. Next, Speechcraft. Requires Saruman to be rank 5. Give targeted units experience. This is pretty much like the Captain of Gondor skill that Boromir and Faramir has. It's also similar to the Trained Archer skill that Legolas has. So it is a useful skill, and it helps us power level our units, at least in skirmish, because in campaign mode there is a level cap per mission, so it's not that useful, but still can be helpful when we do not have that much enemies and we want to just like take out the enemies soon. So use it, let the units level up, don't need to worry about them leveling up, and then just move forward and take out the enemies as soon as possible. And the cooldown time of 180 seconds is kinda okay, I think. Saruman is here, and we have a group of crossbowmen shooting at us. Have they mutinied? Because these are Uruk-hai, you know? Anyways, let's, no, this is a small group, so we want to use the fireball, okay? So, the F key, and then right click. So use the hotkey, or just select it and right click, and you can see that it's not that good because it only hit 4. Took out 4, one of which was only a knockback. Now, let's take a look at the Wizard Blast, and let's see how strong this is. Maybe because it's got a fire attack, that's why the fireball is not as good. But you saw that the Wizard Blast took out a lot more people. Let's bring you over and let's cast you on both. Yeah, this is the skill, Worm Tongue. Now they both are our people, and we don't want to take out the Uruk Pit. So, okay. You know what? Yeah, we can take out the Uruk Pit and just reload the game. So let's take them out. When they count down, they actually become bad again, okay? Or rather, they change their allegiance again. Ta-dang! And that's it. We need our soldiers' help now. So the timer in which the enemy units change their allegiance to us is about 30 seconds. Not that significant, but good enough to make a difference, especially if it can affect 3 groups. You have seen how small the area of effect is for the skill, so it probably wouldn't affect more than 3 unless they're all clustered together. We now have got the final one to showcase, and that is Speechcraft. You would have seen, if you have watched the campaign mission, how I depend a lot on Speechcraft. Have I mentioned it's 180 seconds? I think I did. Speechcraft is a lot stronger if we can have them all clustered together, like on Gondor's walls, on Rohan's walls, after they have climbed the ladder. Let's see how much reach it has. Doesn't affect this, doesn't affect this, so let's check. Pretty good, I think. This has gone to 4, but this is still 4. Start with using this right away upon the start of the mission, then gather at the enemy's fortifications and use this again 3 minutes later. So there we have it, Saruman. Lurtz is a chief commander type Uruk-hai. So Lurtz is actually Uruk-hai, just that Saruman identified Lurtz to be of a higher fighting power kind of thing. Menacing demeanor attracted the attention of Saruman. But anyway, Lurtz has become the commander of the group of Uruk-hai that was tasked to chase down the hobbits and the Fellowship. And there's a wild creature as part of the map do that. It's pretty cool, I think. Anyway, yeah. So Lurtz is very versatile as well. Lurtz can also toggle weapon between bow and sword. So it's an instant effect. Just click on it and he switches over right away. As compared to Legolas though, Lurtz's HP at rank 10 or max rank is 1900 compared to Legolas's 1800. Meanwhile, damage 150 compared to 140 for legless, so he's better at melee, but 130 range for Lurtz compared to 160 for range with legless. So Lurtz range attack isn't that good, but it was good enough to take up Boromir. Anyway, what about his skills? Well, firstly, we usually start with Lurtz equipped with a bow, so let's start here. With the bow, Lurtz has access to Cripple. Cripple pins enemy hero in place, and Cripple has a cooldown time of 75 seconds. Note that it only affects heroes, not other units. But this is only available if Lurtz's bow is equipped. If we switch it to the sword, then we get access to Carnage only if Lurtz is at rank 3. That is plus 200% damage and plus 20% armor. Carnage is kinda useful, I think, especially when Lurtz is surrounded by enemies. So he kinda attacks faster. Rank 3 isn't that difficult to get. It's got a cooldown time of 60 seconds, making it somewhat dependable. Leadership requires Lurtz to be at rank 5. It's a passive ability granting leadership bonus to nearby troops, and that is a plus 100% damage. So this is also applicable to him, giving Lurtz a lot of damage or attack power, because with Carnage and this, it counts for a lot. The other passive skill here is Pillage at rank 6 of Lurtz, allows nearby units to loot enemy kills for resources. So Pillage is very much like Aylmer's outlaw leadership. Okay, here we are at Helm's Deep, and you can see Lurtz already attacking the enemies here. We have to load this because we need to showcase the cripple effect, which is like a single target but only a hero. Well, I mean, it does affect a battalion if you target it. What it does is that it doesn't apply the cripple effect. It simply does a high powered damage that takes out the enemy that was targeted, and that's about it. So it only stops the hero from moving, so we want to target a hero by selecting this and then right click on Gimli. But Gimli's not gonna charge down here to attack us. That's fired, so Gimli will not be able to move until this effect wears off. However, Gimli can still do melee attacks, so do not approach carelessly, because although Gimli cannot move and Gimli doesn't have range attack other than the powers, he does have his melee attacks. The cripple effect lasts about 30 seconds. I think if I got that right, it was 30 seconds? Yeah. It's enough time to get away to safety, or is enough time to chip down his HP. Remember I mentioned in the hero episode for Gimli that he's the tank for the good heroes. So it is important to like immobilize Gimli and take him out using ranged attacks. Okay, we're here, ready to fight with Carnage. So come on, attack. Look at how he fights without Carnage. And now look at how he fights with Carnage. Faster, although it's still enough damage to take out the enemies even without Carnage, and it's about 15 seconds. In terms of the damage though, we can't really tell. There's no damage numbers, but we sure can see the resources appearing. Yeah, see? +5 here, +5 here. For Isengard Skirmish Mode, these are the two anti-heroes that we have. Now, what about the other anti-heroes for the evil factions? These are our anti-heroes, but they're not recruited yet because they just want to show here 8,000 to recruit the Witch King, but mention that it would cost 0 to revive the Witch King. 5,000 to recruit the Nazgul. Here and here. It will cost 0 to revive them. Meanwhile, 50 to revive Gollum, and it takes mere seconds to get Gollum. There. Gollum is just stuck at rank 1 and will not rank up. Has a health of 200, a melee damage of 10. I don't really see any use for Gollum. Is he like cloaked or something? Like, is he not visible when moving? Probably won't be visible when moving because, like, you can see he's kind of translucent. Is he attacked or is he not? Okay, let's move over to here while we move these away. Don't get taken out. Yeah. Again, for Mordor, it's like they don't seem to want to do anything against the enemies, even though they have got the same range. See? He's still like translucent, but he's getting targeted, okay? So definitely not translucent enough to sneak past the enemies. But then again, it's 50 to revive, and then it's like not 2 seconds or 1 second to revive him. But this is about 10 seconds. Next, we've got the Witch King. The Witch King has got Screech and has got the leadership ability, which is a passive ability, granting plus 200% damage, plus 50% armor to nearby soldiers. Alright, and we start Witch King at rank 10, so no need to rank up. Same for the Nazgul. They all have Screech. The difference being that the Witch King has got 4,000 HP, does 200. The Nazgul, 3,000, does 200 damage as well. Yeah, they all have Screech, so let's have them go here and showcase that. They have got the power of flight, which makes them very mobile, but they're susceptible to fire attacks. Very susceptible. They attack an area where their claws land. So the Screech makes them flee, but I noticed they just kinda cower in fear instead of fleeing. It's about 10 seconds, but it's hard to tell because they do cower from fear at the sight of the Nazgul. Doesn't have to be the Screech effect, okay? Like this, for example, you see here? Move Gollum over here. Gollum is pretty much insignificant here. Attack, move, God, and stop. Let me know though if you find any specific use for Gollum, because I don't see any benefit of having Gollum around. Alright, that's about it for the showcase. We want to look at the stats. The Nazguls and the Witch King. Very powerful beings and cost 0 to revive, although they do cost quite a bit in terms of duration. The Witch King requires a total of 4 minutes to revive, and then the Nazgul, although 0 resources also, like the Witch King, actually takes more time. 5 minutes to revive. Interesting, right? Anyway, why do I say so? Because the Nazgul has got lesser health as compared to the Witch King, so rightfully, the Witch King should have taken longer. And the Witch King is sort of like the leader of the Nazguls. Well, whatever it is, they're all rank 10, and yeah, they have the mobility, and they have the attack power, which is 200, that's a lot. Lurtz and Saruman, I didn't notice any difference in their stats in the different missions. If I missed out anything though, please correct me in the comments down below. But yeah, the stats for the Witch King and Gollum is pretty straightforward because they don't rank up. For Lurtz and for Saruman, it's pretty standard too. If you want to do a comparison between Saruman and Gandalf, then bring up part 2 of the featurette videos for the good faction heroes. And if you want to compare Lurtz and Legolas, then bring up part 1 of the featurette for the good faction heroes. I think you can also compare it with Faramir, that would be part 2. Anyway, that's about it. I think that's all I have to cover for the anti-heroes here. Oh yeah, Screech, 60 seconds cooldown time. Yeah. I hope you found this episode helpful. I hope you found the information that I've shared useful and informational. And I hope you learned something new here. Also, if I made any mistakes or I missed out anything, please let me know in the comments below. But otherwise, thank you very much for watching. That's all I have for now. Have a nice day.